Hi friends, in previous class we discussed about the radial flow reaction turbine. Now it is a time for discussing about the axial flow reaction turbine. So axial flow means the flow of water to the runner is axial, means parallel to the shaft axis. This is a shaft, this is the axis of the shaft, means the water enters to the, for example, this is a runner. So this is a runner or hub of a turbine. This is a runner blades. So this is a axis, this is a hub, this is a shaft. So this means the water flows axially, means parallel to this axis. The water enters parallel to this axis and leaves also parallel to this axis, is called axial flow. So why it is a reaction turbine? In the reaction turbine, there is a pressure energy as well as a kinetic energy plays an important role for developing the more power. But in a, we have according to action, we have two types of turbine: impulse turbine and reaction turbine. Impulse turbine is nothing but example of impulse turbine is a Pelton wheel. This is a Pelton wheel runner. This is a blades of the runner. Means the water coming from the penstock is entered to the nozzle. Here the nozzle. Here the nozzle is converted. The water coming from the head, potential energy as well as the pressure energy here is converted into kinetic energy. The high kinetic energy of jet strikes on this blade. So here the pressure energy at this runner or runner blade is atmosphere's pressure. So pressure energy everywhere in the runner or runner blade is a constant, that is a atmosphere pressure. Means pressure energy is constant, does not vary. So this type of where pressure energy is a atmosphere and does not vary is called impulse turbine. But in a reaction turbine, the pressure energy is varying, it changes. So pressure energy is not a atmosphere pressure, because the water coming from the penstock is entered the scroll casing, entire this scroll casing, and the penstock is a closed conduit. Entire this turbine blades and runner are situated or placed in a scroll casing, and that scroll casing is a tight or a closed conduit. This means there is no pressure energy is a constant. No, here whenever the closed conduit is whenever the water entered in the closed conduit, the pressure energy is varying. Means there is a pressure energy plus kinetic energy also takes place in the reaction turbine. But in impulse turbine, the pressure energy is converted into the kinetic energy. But in a reaction turbine, pressure energy also useful and kinetic energy also useful for developing the more power. That's why this is a reaction. Means in this turbine, the pressure and kinetic energies are changes according to the load and by using the draft tube. So therefore there is a two reactions is there, pressure and kinetic energy. That's why this turbine is called a reaction turbine. So axial flow means the flow path of water entered to the runner is axial, means parallel to the shaft axis, called axial flow. Reaction means both the pressure energy and the kinetic energy plays an important role for developing the power in a turbine is called reaction turbine. So this is a axial flow reaction turbine. So there are coming to the parts of reaction turbine. The first one is the scroll casing. And second one is a guide vanes. And third one is a hub or boss, and the fourth one is a runner blades, and the fifth one is a draft tube. So one by one I will show. This is a scroll casing. So entire this is a scroll casing. A scroll casing, it is like a closed conduit. This is a scroll casing. So in this scroll casing, everything, all the parts of turbine is situated. So this is a scroll casing. This entire part, this entire part is scroll casing. Guide vanes. This is a guide vane. This is also guide vane. This is also guide vane. Okay. Runner blades. So these are the runner blades. These are the runner blades. This is a hub. So this is a hub. This entire part is called hub. On hub, the runner blades are fixed on hub of the hub periphery. This is a runner blades. So throughout the circumference, the runner blades are fixed on the hub. Throughout the circumference of hub, the runner blades are fixed. This is a runner blade. This is a draft tube. This is a draft tube. At the end of the turbine, the draft tube is attached. So one end of the turbine is attached to draft tube. Another end of the draft tube is submerged below the level of water. That is called tail race. So in a detail, in the next section, in detail, I will explain how the draft tube is situated, what is the function of draft tube, what is the requirement draft tube. Now we will explain scroll casing, guide vanes, hub or boss, and runner blades. So these are the parts of the axial flow reaction turbine. So coming to the working principle, coming to the working principle, the water coming from the penstock is entered in the scroll casing. After the scroll casing, all the guide blades are situated in the scroll casing. So then the water strikes on the guide blades. The guide blades are used to guide the water or control the water flow rate to the runner blades. So it passes from the water, the water or the fluid passes to the runner through guide vanes. These guide vanes are used to control the flow of the water or flow angle of the water. So this is very important. This guide vane is very important. Without guide vane mechanism, there is no power developed in the turbine. So the guide vanes are sometimes partially closed or sometimes completely closed, sometimes partially open, sometimes partially completely open. If you want to more power, getting the more power, guide vanes are completely open. If you want to decrease the power load according to load output or part load, the guide vane should be adjustable or it may be closes or open. So if you want to better understanding, please refer my animation lectures of axial flow turbine, that is a Kaplan turbine. So this is then the water coming through guide vanes is entered on or touches on the tip of the blade. This is the tip of the blade. So the water enters 90 degrees means axially, means parallel to the shaft axis. It enters 90 degrees and leaves also same in the same direction. 90 degrees means water enters and leaves as a parallel to the shaft axis. That's why it is a axial flow turbine. So whenever the water strikes the turbine blade, then the turbine blade, the runner blade is just try to moving. So whenever the blade is moving continuously, all the blades are moving, then the hub is rotated. Due to the hub, the shaft is attached to the hub section, then shaft also rotates. This shaft we will coupled to the generator. Next, this shaft is coupled to the generator for getting electrical energy. So the water leaves from this hub also axially, then it is entered to the starting section of the draft tube. This draft tube is used for creating the reaction effect, means the exit of the runner is always the pressure at the exit of the runner is always less than the atmospheric pressure. For creating the lesser atmospheric pressure at the exit of the runner, we use a draft tube. So what is the function of draft tube, what is the shape of draft tube, I will explain in the later section. So the draft tube is nothing but a divergent section. At the small end of this part is connected to the turbine and bigger end of the draft tube is submerged below the tail race. This is the tail race of water. This is the tail race of the turbine. So the turbine exit is submerged below the tail race of the turbine or the power plant. So this is a draft tube. The draft tube is a gradually increasing cross section or tapered section, whether it is a rectangle or a conical shape. So different types of draft tube is there. Anyhow, I will explain clearly in a draft tube section. So this is a working of a axial flow reaction turbine. So the water coming from the penstock is entered in the scroll casing, then it is entered to the it strikes a turbine blade or runner blade through guide vanes. This guide vanes is used for controlling or controlling of water flow, and it sends the water to the runner blades. So it is only used for controlling of a water flow angle or water flow rate. So then water strikes on the runner blades. It's try to move the blade. Then the hub is rotated. Whenever the blades are moving, the hub is rotating. Then shaft also rotating. So then the water leaves from the exit of runner to draft tube. This is the working principle of axial flow reaction turbine. So in the axial flow reaction turbine, there are two types as there. Axial flow reaction turbines is two types. One is a propeller turbine, and second one is a Kaplan turbine. So what is the difference of a propeller and Kaplan turbine? The schematic and the working principle of a propeller turbine and Kaplan turbine is same, but as in a propeller turbine, the vanes or runner blades are completely fixed to the hub, This means it is not adjustable, it's not tilting. But in a Kaplan turbine, the runner blades, these are the runner blades. This is a runner blade, this is a runner blade. So throughout the periphery of this hub, the runner blades are fixed. So the fixed runner blades are sometimes it's a small tilting, it's maybe adjustable. So according to the load, part load of the turbine. So according to the load of the generator or load of the turbine shaft, these runner blades are small adjustable and small tilting. That turbine is called Kaplan turbine. In a propeller turbine, the runner blades are fixed, it is not adjustable or not tilted. In a Kaplan turbine, the blades are small adjustable and tilted. If you want a better understanding of this blades mechanism, please refer my animated lecture for clear understanding of how the blades are adjustable or tilted. So this is about the axial flow reaction turbine. So coming to the important parameters, this is a diameter of hub DH, we denote it as a DH. So this is the outer diameter of runner or runner tip. So this is a diameter from end to end section of this runner blades, we called as a outer diameter. So inner diameter, inner to inner section of the runner blades we called as a hub diameter or nose diameter. So this is a complete working principle of parts and working principle of axial flow reaction turbine. So axial flow reaction turbine is a two types of propeller turbine and Kaplan turbine. So now we will go for working proportions and design proportions of axial flow reaction turbine. Yeah, we forget one thing. In axial flow reaction turbine, U1 equal to U2 and Vf1 is also equal to Vf2, because the water enters or touches the runner blade at the same radius. From if you measure from this one, this is the R1, and leaves also this point, means R1 is equal to R2, means water enters and leaves at the same radius of the runner. That's why U1 and U2 is same. But in a Francis turbine, the water enters at one radius and leaves at another radius. That's why in a Francis turbine, U1 not equal to U2, but in a Kaplan turbine, the water enters and leaves from the runner is the same radius. That's why U1 is equal to U2. This is very important things, and Vf1 and Vf2 also same. Why? Because the water enters to the runner blade as a 90 degrees axial direction, and the leaves from the runner blade also 90 degrees, that is a axial direction. Means the flow of water throughout this runner is same direction, entry and leaving also same. That's why Vf1 and Vf2 will be same. So please keep in mind U1 and U2 is equal to same, Vf1 and Vf2 will be same in the Kaplan turbine, nothing but axial flow reaction turbine. So we will go for the next section, the working proportions or some design aspects of axial flow reaction turbine. So we know that discharge Q is equal to, so that's so finally the axial flow reaction turbine or Kaplan turbine is a low head high discharge high specific speed axial flow reaction turbine. So when a low head, discharge should be very high. So because we know that discharge, we know that power equation, power P is equal to rho Q G H by 1000. If you want by divided by 1000, it is a kilowatt. If you don't want to divide it by 1000, this is a kilowatt. So the water fluid is equal to rho QCH. In the total equation, the density, rho is a density, it is always constant, density of water is constant, this is a constant, acceleration due to degrees, this is a constant. So rho and G also constant. Therefore the power is directly proportional to the Q and H. Means Q and H as inversely proportional. Means this means Q is inversely proportional. It is for getting same power, the power for same power, if you are getting the same power, Q is inversely proportional head. Higher the head, lower the discharge will be required. That's why in a Pelton wheel turbine, the head of the turbine is available is very high. That's why in a Pelton turbine, it is a low discharge turbine. But in a axial flow turbines or Kaplan turbine, it is a low head turbine. This means we require a high discharge. So we know that discharge Q is equal to, area into velocity. So the velocity we called as a flow velocity. We know that in previous case of reaction turbines, area is equal to pi by 4, pi d minus ZT is the area into Vf. So for low head turbines, so axial flow reaction turbine is a low head turbine, it is required a high discharge. For getting high discharge, if you want to high discharge, whether by increasing the area of the flow or velocity of the flow, any one of these we can get a high discharge by increasing the area or by increasing the velocity of the flow. But so there is a two chances for increasing the discharge. So one is the area of the flow and the velocity of the flow. So if you want to increase the velocity of the flow, both, so whenever velocity of the flow increases, Vf1 is increases, so the Vf1 is a water flow velocity of water at inlet. Whenever a flow velocity of water is inlet, exit also increases, because Vf1 and Vf2 in axial flow reaction turbine is same. So whenever the Vf1 is increases, Vf2 also increases. So this means more exit losses is there. So if you want to increase the flow velocity before touching the blade, then Vf1 should be increases. So according to axial flow turbine, Vf1 and Vf should be same. This means if Vf1 increases, Vf2 also increases. That's why more the flow of inlet velocity, exit flow also will be very high. Whenever the exit flow will be high, the exit losses should be very high. So that is decreasing the efficiency of turbine. So there is no chance for apart from for particular velocity of flow we will increase. So we can increase up to a particular point of velocity flow. There is another chance of another chance for increasing the discharge, that is area. So if we want to increase the area, the discharge should be very high. So anyhow Vf cannot be increased morely, up to a particular point Vf can be increased. Another chance is increasing the area. So for increasing the area, either you increase the diameter of the hub or decreasing the thickness or number of the blades. So increasing the diameter of the, it increases the weight of the turbine, that's why the efficiency will be very less. So only one chance, decreasing the number of blades. So that's why, so if you want to increase this area, whether this term can be increased or this term can be decreased. Decreasing the this term area, so area A is equal to pi d minus ZT. For increasing the area, whether you should increase the this term or decreasing the this term. Increasing this term means the diameter of the hub is increases. Diameter of the hub increases, what happened? The dimensions and the whole weight of the shaft, hub and runner blades and entire system is very bulky. That's why the efficiency will be, whenever the weight increases, the efficiency will be decreased. So another chance decreasing this term. This means either Z and T decreases, means the thickness of the turbine runner blades may be decreases or number of blades can be decreases. So only one chance by decreasing this term. So therefore Q is equal to pi d we can use. So that's why Z is nothing but decreasing the Z means Z is nothing but number of blades. That's why in a Kaplan turbine the number of blades are fixed around to 4 to 6. Coming to the Francis turbine, it is around to 15 to 20 of the blades of a turbine in a Francis turbine. In a Kaplan turbine, it is around 4 to 6. This is the reason. For increasing the high discharge, we should decrease the number of blades. So number of blades decrease, this means velocity of the area of the flow will be increases. So therefore Q is equal to area into velocity of flow, then Q is equal to pi by 4 dO square, outer diameter square minus hub diameter square into velocity of flow. So dy is nothing but outer diameter of hub, dh is the diameter hub, dy is nothing but tip diameter of the blade. So this is some important working proportions of Kaplan turbine. So overall axial flow reaction or Kaplan turbine is a low head, high discharge, high specific axial flow reaction turbine. So this is a discharge formula for a Kaplan turbine. So we cannot increase Vf, that's why we decrease the number of blades. That's why the number of blades is fixed around, it is limited to 4 to 6 in a Kaplan turbine. As in the Francis turbine, it is around 15 to 20. So this is about the Francis turbine. So I completed the different parts of the Kaplan turbine and working principle and design proportions of Kaplan turbine. Now we will go for in the coming in the next class I will solve some important conventional problems based on the previous question papers. Okay, thank you.